diligently. Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions issues 7-day ultimatum to management of West African Examination Council. Abroad, Rwanda severe ties with Belgium. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on Delta Television News tonight. My name is Onome Iyaroe. The state government has constructed over 300 kilometers of roads and 128.5 kilometers of drains in the riverine areas, with 7 bridges completed. Governor Sheriff Oborevwori disclosed this while receiving participants from the Naval War Calling Calabar Cross River State, who are on a study tour of the state. Parable to his details.
Governor Sheriff Oborevwori, represented by his deputy Sir Monde Oyeme, said the theme of the study tour, Maritime Security, a panacea for viable socio-economic development, held the pathway to the safety and development of the blue economy, adding that maritime security was critical to the development of the people. Governor Oborevwori highlighted the creation of the Ministry of Riverine Infrastructure Development to address an infrastructure deficit in the riverine communities for rural-urban integration, bearing in mind the development of coastal communities. He said in spite of the huge cost of riverine infrastructure development, his administration are taking deliberate efforts in connecting and transforming the maritime landscape.
The more agenda of this administration is committed to fostering inclusiveness in development and enhancing the quality of lives of our people. In spite of the huge cost of riverine infrastructural development, government has taken deliberate efforts in connecting and transforming the maritime landscape. Before the commencement of the construction of Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway by the federal government, the Delta State government had gone ahead to construct over 300-kilometer length of routes and 128.5 kilometers of drain channels in the riverine areas, including 7 completed bridges.
According to the governor, as part of efforts to improve the health status of the people in riverine communities, the state government had prioritized the enhancement of primary health care to ensure quality service delivery by leveraging on the Contributory Health Scheme for quality and affordable healthcare services to the under 5, prenatal and pregnant women. He listed some completed and ongoing projects in riverine communities to include the Trans-Warri Ode Ishekiri roads and bridges, Ogeye floating market in Warri North, construction of 18.17 kilometers Okarenkoko, Pepeama Kokodagbane Road with a spur at Tetepo in Warri Southwest, construction of a 2.5 kilometers Okarenkoko Township Road Phase 2, rehabilitation of 26.61 kilometers Bomandi Baigolo Road in Bomandi, and the rehabilitation of the 26.34 kilometers Oro Bomandi Baigolo roads. Governor Oborevwori acknowledged the role of the Delta State Oil Producing Areas Development Commission, DESOPADEC, as an interventionist agency with the mandate to provide critical infrastructure in oil-producing areas of the state. He affirmed that his administration had continued to collaborate with the federal government in the development of the Nigerian Maritime University Okarenkoko and with security agencies through the provision of logistic support to enhance their operations in riverine areas. The governor assured that his administration had given maritime security a top priority, adding that the state was determined to maintain the prevailing peace in riverine communities as the state was the highest in crude oil production, which is the mainstay of the nation's economy.
Delta State government has continued to collaborate with various security agencies through the provision of logistic support to enhance their operations in the riverine area of the states.
Earlier, the Commandant Nigerian War College Calabar and leader of the delegation, Rear Admiral Akinola Olodude, said Course 9 of the Naval War College Calabar was on tour to Delta State to study maritime security vis-a-vis its role as a panacea for a viable socio-economic development in the country. Rear Admiral Olodude said Delta State was strategically positioned along the Niger Delta region and served as a critical maritime corridor for trade and commerce, adding that the state had a large coastal line. According to him, the key components of their curriculum was to undertake a study tour which was designed to expose the participants to different thematic areas of national security with emphasis on operational level activities as regards the maritime sector.
Critical in that is the role of the armed forces, particularly the Nigerian Navy, which has to ensure that there's security within the maritime space in order to be able to harness the resources. I'll leave it to George, but I'm sure you'll have noticed that there has been a steady increase in oil production since when the president took over to where we are now. I think that speaks for itself, that the security architecture, particularly the Nigerian Navy, is playing its own role in ensuring that the maritime domain is safe so that the country's oil production can increase.
I am Pere Butu reporting.
The state government has expressed its commitment to securing and developing the maritime sector, which contributes about 40% to the state's economy. The secretary to the state government, Dr. Kingsley Emo, made the government stand known when he received the participants of Nigeria who are on a study tour of the state. Sams Okwojite has details.
Dr. Emu said Delta State boasted a huge maritime economy coupled with being the foremost oil-producing state, thus the need to invest more in the development and security of the maritime sector against the incessant threat of pipeline vandalism, oil bunkering, sea pirates, communal boundary conflicts, among other anomalies. He said the state government was dedicated to making good use of its limited resources in supporting any security endeavors aimed at protecting its rich water territories. The SAG added that the state had embarked on infrastructural developments such as bridges and transportation systems to better the environment and economic life of over 20% of Deltans living in the riverine area, while urging the participants of the Naval Welfare Course 9 to explore areas of improvement in the state's maritime sector as it toured the state.
So we're very committed to developing the maritime or riverine areas for very many reasons. One, it warehouses our people, almost 40%. It's about 20% of our population live in those areas because of the nature and terrain of those areas. Just suffice to say that this government has put a lot of things in place, has actually institutionalized a lot of committees and commissions to support, facilitate a healthy relationship and wealth, sustain the wealth in the riverine area.
In his remarks, the commandant of the Naval Welfare Course of the Naval War College, Calabar, Rear Admiral Akinola Oludude, promised that his team would make impactful recommendations at the end of the study tour.
And from our discussion, what resonates is that even beyond what the state is supposed to do constitutionally, they have also even gone above and beyond, even part of the responsibility of the federal government as we see in them.
The theme of the Naval Welfare Course 9 is Maritime Security, a panacea for viable socio-economic development. Sams Okwojite reporting.
The member representing Ndukwa Ukwani Federal Constituency in the Federal House of Representatives, Honorable Nnamdi Ezechi, has emerged the daily independent legislator of the year 2024. He was identified as having sponsored many significant bills and motions of urgent public importance to the Ndukwa Ukwani Federal Constituency and beyond, as demonstrated by his commitment to championing the voices of the people, pushing for meaningful legislation and advocating policies that foster development, equity, and progress. The lawmaker was honored at the weekend alongside First Lady Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu, Governors Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, Usman Dodo of Kogi State, Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State, Abdurrahman Abdurrazak of Kwara State, Hope Uzodinma of Imo State, Basi Otu of Cross River, and Professor Charles Soludo of Anambra. Other awardees were former Rivers Governor Peter Odili, Chief Bisi Akonde, Senator Heineken Lokobiri, Festus Keyamo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Senator Adams Oshomole, Alhaji Bashiru Adeniyi, Chairman and MD of NDDC, Axis Bank, NDIC, and Transcorp Hotels, which got corporate awards, among others. Receiving the award, Honorable Ezechi emphasized that the recognition was not a personal achievement, but a testament to the collective efforts and unwavering support of his constituents. He expressed gratitude to God, the Delta State government and Deputy Governor, the immediate past governor, his constituents and his colleagues, as well as Mr. Steve Bennett, Managing Director of Netco Desman Company, and the entire staff, among others, for their support. Artisans in the state of Izine Catherine Onyeme gave the charge at the inauguration of the executive of the Artisans Association Oshimile South Local Government Area. Gloria Otolo has details.
The Deputy Governor's wife, represented by Mrs. Eloho Asagba, tasked the newly elected executives to lead the members well and entrench craftsmanship in their vocation. She stressed the need for unity towards achieving set goals while enjoining all to be of good reputation.
You can't walk alone. We can't walk alone. We need each other for this world to survive. Artisans, there is little money can even do. You are our strength.
The occasion featured the formal handover of the certificate of election to the newly inaugurated executive. Gloria Otolo reporting.
Medical directors of the two newly established tertiary hospitals in the country have been told to prioritize expansion, optimize healthcare services, and actively engage with their host communities. President Bola Tinubu, who gave the charge, emphasized his administration's commitment to improving healthcare access for all Nigerians. The new MDs are Haruna Shehu, Medical Director, Federal Medical Center, FMC, Kafanjang, Kaduna State, and Ali Ramat, National Orthopedic Hospital, Azare, Howell, Borno State. The Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Mr. Adekunle Salako, conveyed the President's message while inaugurating the medical directors in Abuja, stressing that President Tinubu expected a high level of dedication from them. Mr. Hana Shehu, responding on behalf of the appointees, thanked Mr. President for their appointment and the trust placed in them, pledging that they would dedicate themselves to excellence while upholding the President's vision for the health. The Chief of Army Staff, COAS, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, has urged Nigerian Army troops to make the country safer and more secure for all citizens. General Oluyede gave the charge while addressing troops during his maiden operational visit to 12th Brigade Nigerian Army Charimangumeri Barracks, Lokoja. He praised the troops for their efforts and sacrifices in safeguarding national security, defending sovereignty, and protecting Nigeria's interests. General Oluyede pledged to prioritize soldiers' welfare and that of their families, acknowledging their sacrifices and dedication to the nation. He also assured troops of regular supply of uniforms, kits, combat gear, improved living and working conditions, and access to soft loans for those in need. The Chief of Army Staff praised or promised continued efforts within available resources to improve conditions for troops and their families across the Army. He cautioned troops against extravagant lifestyles and urged them to live within their means and earnings. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has criticized the new minimum wage of 70,000 naira, which was approved for workers in personal interest over collective welfare. The former president also claimed labor leaders are more interested in pursuing personal interests. The Trade Union Congress, TUC, has waded into the trending issue of a core member who allegedly got threatened by officials of the National Youth Service Corps, NYC, for criticizing President Bola Tinubu's administration. TUC President Comrade Festus Osifo, in a television interview, said that the core member spoke out of frustration, advising the government not to go after her, but to be tolerant of critics. The Lagos-based NOIC member, Ushe Ugwamaye, had taken to TikTok to criticize President Tinubu's government over the hardship Nigerians face as a result of the administration's economic reforms. Her video went viral and got the attention of NYC officials, whom she later accused of calling her and issuing a threat to her to delete the video. NYC is yet to release an official statement regarding the issue. The TUC boss, however, advised critics to always criticize the government within the expected norm and with some level of decorum. In a statement released earlier, Amnesty International also condemned the alleged threats and intimidation being faced by Lagos-based core member. It said that the federal government must stop threatening individuals and groups who criticize the current administration. The Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, NSIB, today signed a Memorandum of Understanding MOU with Aero Contractors to strengthen collaboration in industry-led safety training, knowledge exchange, and human capital development. The MOU, according to the NSIB, would solidify Nigeria's commitment to upholding global aviation safety standards. Director of Public Affairs and Family Assistance, NSIB, Mrs. Bimbo Oladeji, in a statement, said the partnership would see NSIB's transportation safety officers and technical personnel undergo specialized on-the-job training using Aero state-of-the-art facilities, including simulators and maintenance workshops. Quoting the Director General of NSIB, Captain Alex Bade Jr., the statement added that the MOU was more than just a document. It added that through the document, or through the agreement, they would work together to design and deliver customized on-the-job training programs for its transportation safety officers and other staff. Managing Director of Aero Contractors, Mr. Ado Sanusi, said safety was not just a regulatory requirement, but the cornerstone of the industry. The agreement also outlines provisions for periodic reviews and amendments to ensure its continued relevance in addressing the dynamic challenges of aviation safety. The Nigerian Employees Consultative Association, NECA, has strongly condemned the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria over the imposition of what it described as outrageous annual dues on private and non-quoted companies. According to a statement, NECA warned that the move could cripple businesses and stifle economic growth. It mentioned that the new policy significantly increased the annual dues of private firms from 1 million naira to hundreds of millions of naira, depending on their turnover. Meanwhile, publicity or publicly listed companies remain capped at 25 million naira. NECA's Director General, Mr. Dewale Smart Oyerinde, denounced the move as unjust and contradictory to the federal government's efforts to enhance Nigeria's business environment, attract investment, and create jobs. He warned that increased financial burden on private firms already struggling with multiple taxation, regulatory bottlenecks, and rising operational costs could force many to shut down or downsize. Mr. Oyerinde further noted that the regulatory unpredictability discourages both local and foreign investors, weakening Nigeria's global competitiveness. NECA urged the federal government and the National Assembly to immediately suspend the enforcement of the new levies and revert to the previous 1 million naira fee structure, pending a comprehensive review. Mr. Oyerinde also called for an urgent legislative amendment to the FRC Act to eliminate ambiguities and ensure fair and transparent oversight. He called for dialogue between the federal government, the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, and key stakeholders, including NECA, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, and the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture to establish a more sustainable and justifiable compliance framework. You're watching the Delta Television News. Still to come, Rwanda severes ties with Belgium. Details of this and other reports shortly after this break. Please stay tuned.
Your walls are in for a lifetime treat with the right touch and the right paint. Introducing OC Wall Garment Paint. OC Wall Garment Paint comes in varieties of vibrant colors, textures, and glitters. It is fireproof, soundproof, heatproof, and has no bad smell. OC Wall Garment Paint is a long-lasting paint that is very affordable and safe for both residential and commercial purposes. Visit our head office at Block A1205 New Modern International Market, Izinei Junction, Asaba Benin Expressway, Delta State, or call Uche on 0802-700-0337. Enugu State Distributor, The Great Akon Ventures, 11 Timbershade, Abakwaba, Nike Lake Road, Enugu State. Telephone 081-484-05940. Nsuka Distributor, Goddessville Plaza, Nsuka, Enugu State. Telephone 0816-120-8661. Anambra State Distributor Office, Otwe Multi-Concept Services, number 18, Mike Nwobo Street, Anambra State. Telephone 0803-936-7472. Lagos Distributor, Sonny Igbanda. Telephone 0803-653-7283. Anayo Global, Lagos. Telephone 0906-897-5528. Other African countries are Benin Republic, Ghana, Liberia, Sierra Leone. OC World Garment Paint, beauty, durability, and value.
If tanker wey carry fuel fall or pipe wey carry fuel for underground burst, wetin you go do? You go begin bath fuel put for your bucket, or you go run comot far for where the fire go soon come. Na only small time you get to take this wise decision. No, that one no dey enough. Shift. No, that one no dey enough. Stay there, dey gist and take pictures with your phone. That's na madness. Run. Yes, run comot. Yes, your life depend on wetin you do. The fire go come at once and you no go fit control am. Why? Petrol dey catch fire easily. Why? Na just small spark go start big fire. So no stay there dey think. Run comot quick to save your life. No throw away your life away because of say you wan pack petrol. Take this advice. This informate na from Public Enlightenment Office, Delta Broadcasting Service, Asaba.
Aha! Bro, I tell you, this man 3-0. If I win you, something will come out.
Don't play with me. Fast ball. You know what? You don't touch me. Now we got this man.
Keep the banter going with Glow Borrow Me Credit or Data. Dial star 303 hash to borrow airtime or data and pay later.
Is that
Power your relentless ambition with ultra-high-speed data. Glow Unlimited.
Welcome back to Delta Television Main News. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has recovered over 365.4 billion naira and secured 4,111 convictions in 2024. This was disclosed by the EFCC chairman, Mr. Ola Olukoyede. According to a statement by the agency's spokesman, Mr. Dele Oyewale, the EFCC boss made a disclosure in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State at the end of a 3-day retreat for directors with the theme EFCC, the journey so far, ensuring professionalism and integrity. Mr. Olukoyede attributed the feat achieved to the commitment, sacrifices, and dedication of staff, promising to surpass the record in 2025. The Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions, NASU, has issued a 7-day ultimatum to the management of the West African Examinations Council, WAEC, to address a 4-point demand concerning workers' welfare and the alleged victimization of labor leaders. Speaking at a press briefing in Lagos today, NASU General Secretary Prince Peters Adeyemi warned that all WAEC offices nationwide would be shut down starting Monday, March 24, if the management fails to meet their demands. Believers have been admonished to shun materialism and stay away from sin in order to live righteously. Evangelist Anyasi Enwemenem gave the admonition today at the DBS Asaba weekly prayer session. Henry Unogwa completes the report.
Evangelist Enwemenem in his message, drawn from Ezekiel chapter 22 verse 30, said God would walk with those who were willing to serve him. He noted that God saw those whom he would use to bring people together and to fight evil manipulations in every establishment. The cleric emphasized the need for believers to obey God's voice, shun backbiting, and exempt themselves from evil practices to attract God's blessings. He called on unbelievers to come to God through Jesus Christ, the way, the truth, and the life, in order to avert the wrath of God.
God is searching for the man. And I want to let you know this, that the works of evil, the operations and operators of evil against this institution, outside forces, come in.
The prayer meeting featured praise and worship sessions. Henry Onogba reporting.
The global scene is next as we join our World News Desk.
The government of Rwanda has announced it has severed diplomatic ties with Belgium. The country's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation announced this today. It has also ordered all of Belgium's diplomats to leave its territory within 48 hours. The European country was accused of undermining Kigali during the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC conflict. In retaliation, the Belgian government announced that diplomats from East Africa countries are no longer welcome in Belgium. The DRC and Rwanda have been involved in a conflict since 2022. The conflict, however, took a fresh turn when a Rwanda-backed armed group known as M23 seized some parts of eastern DR Congo in the beginning of January. The ongoing conflict between both countries has deepened a humanitarian crisis. The president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, accused Belgium of advocating for sanctions against his country yesterday. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, said a pair of U.S. astronauts stuck for more than 9 months on the International Space Station will be returned to Earth tomorrow evening. Bush Wilmore and Suni Williams are to be transported home with another American astronaut and a Russian cosmonaut aboard a SpaceX Crew Dragon craft, which arrived at the ISS early yesterday. The stranded duo have been on the ISS since June after the Boeing Starliner spacecraft they were testing on its maiden crewed voyage suffered propulsion issues and was deemed unfit to fly them back to Earth. NASA said in a statement that it had moved forward the astronaut anticipated ocean splashdown off the Florida coast to approximately 5:55 p.m. tomorrow. It was initially slated for no sooner than Wednesday. NASA astronaut Nick Hague and Roscosmos cosmonaut Alexander Gobonov will also return on the Dragon capsule, with the journey to be broadcasted live from today evening, with harsh closure preparations begin.
Our business news desk is the next stop for happenings in the business sector.
State governors have outlined ambitious plans to boost capital expenditure in states to address the infrastructure deficit in their various domains. The governors have earmarked 17.51 trillion naira to fund capital projects in their 2025 budgets. They had earmarked 11.34 trillion naira to fund similar projects in 2024, but could not secure sufficient funds as the states recorded a deficit of 3.98 trillion naira last year. This indicates that the subnational plans to spend 28.85 trillion naira on infrastructure upgrades to boost economic development in 2 years following the improved revenue allocations from the federal government. Recall that statutory allocations from the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee to the 3 tiers of government increased by 4.994 trillion naira to 15.12 trillion naira within the 12 months of 2024. The amount indicates an increase of 49.24% from 10.143 trillion naira disbursed to meet their obligations in 2023. The Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) has announced the suspension of Centurion's Registrars Limited along with its directors and sponsored individuals from the capital markets. The suspension was announced by the Commission in a statement titled Additional Enforcement Measures on Erring Capital Market Operators. The SEC stated that all clients of Centurion registrars are advised to contact Africa Prudential PLC for guidance. This action is part of the Commission's broader efforts in 2025 to crack down on capital market operators it deems illegal. In a related update, the Commission also said it will publish the names of capital market operators who violate market regulations in its name and scheme journal. The SEC said the decision reflects a zero-tolerance policy for infractions in the capital market and aligns with newly revised enforcement strategies. The Securities and Exchange Commission recently revoked the registration of Mainland Trust Limited, a capital market operator, citing regulatory non-compliance and outstanding complaints against the company.
All right, our Sports News Desk is next for happenings in the world of sports.
The Super Eagles camp in Kigali ahead of the all-important 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier against the Amavubi of Rwanda is currently bubbling following the arrival of players. Galatasaray forward Victor Osimhen, defender Bruno Onyemaechi, goalkeeper Kayode Bakole, and Papa Daniel Mustafa arrived at the team's Radisson Blu Hotel camp yesterday. The trio were later joined by Amas Obasogie, Tolu Arokodare. Other players expected tonight are Moses Simon, Victor Boniface, Raphael Onyedika, Jordan Torunariga, Stanley Nwabali, Samuel Chukwueze, Bright Osai, and Igor Ogbu. Head coach Eric Chelle and other backroom staff arrived Kigali yesterday night. The Super Eagles will be up against the Amavubi in a matchday 5 encounter at the Amahoro Stadium on Friday. They will then host Warriors of Zimbabwe 4 days later at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, Uyo. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Football Federation (NFF) has finalized plans to host a friendly match between the Super Eagles and Black Stars of Ghana before their 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying match against South Africa. The planned friendly game with the Black Stars is scheduled to take place in Europe. As a warm-up for the 2026 World Cup qualifying match in South Africa in September, the Super Eagles coach Eric Chelle had hoped to play against an Africa team like Zambia, who play a similar style of football to South Africa's Bafana Bafana. On September 7, South Africa will host Nigeria as part of the ongoing qualifying campaign for the 2026 World Cup in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. During the June international break, the NFF had already signed a friendly with Russia.
The Right Honorable Sheriff Oborewori has congratulated the Nigerian Union of Journalists (NUJ) on its 70th anniversary. Governor Oborewori, in a statement by his Chief Press Secretary, Sir Festus Ahon, congratulated the President of the NUJ, Comrade Al Hassan Yahaya, and all members of the union for their contributions to ethical journalism and nation building. While calling for better welfare for practicing gender watchdog function of the media in the political system, Governor Oborevwori acknowledged the NUJ's crucial role in defining Nigeria's narrative and furthering democratic ideals, even as he commended the union's leadership for defending press freedom and fighting for the welfare of journalists. He said the NUJ's 70th anniversary marked a significant milestone in Nigeria's media landscape, reflecting decades of commitment to journalistic excellence and the promotion of democratic principles. The state deputy governor, Sir Monday Onyeme, was among dignitaries at the funeral service of the late Mrs. Queen Nkolise Osilonya at Olaosisa, Ndokwa West local government area. Perebutu reports.
Also present at the event were the immediate past governor of the state, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, a delegation from the wife of the state governor, Dickiness Tobore Oborevwori, retired Rear Admiral Mike Honor, Chief Godswill Obielu, serving and past members of the State Executive Council, local government chairmen and their wives, members of the People's Democratic Party, traditional rulers and clergymen. At the family compound of the Osilonyans venue of the funeral service, the gathering was reminded of the frailty of life and the need for all to soberly reflect on their lifestyles with eternity in view. The remains of Mrs. Queen Nkolise Osilonya was later buried in a private ceremony at the family compound amidst eulogies. Some of the guests commended the Osilonya family for giving their mother a befitting burial and urged them to take solace in the legacies she left behind.
And thank God for her mother's life well spent.
My friend, Chief Vincent Osilonya, my message to the family is that they should take heart. Mama was a good woman, great woman. She has left very indelible footprints.
That is a necessary end. So we are not in control of it. Anytime it happens, take it like that. But God is in control. Give him all.
A son of the deceased and chairman of the Ndokwa East local government, Chief Vincent Osilonya, among other family members, described their late mother as caring, loving and hardworking, adding that she would be sorely missed.
The remains of your lovely mother being lowered to the mother end. Then it dawned on me that truly I will never see her. So myself and my family, we are going to greatly miss her. I'm full of appreciation for them to have been their very busy schedule to honor me.
She was a good mother-in-law. So when some people talk about mother-in-laws, dividend deals, and all those kind of things, I never one day had such with her. I used to call her Mama Queen, and she always smile and say, we're just partners. Yes, I know so many things that happened before I got to know her. But she told me so many things. She's kind of person who is free with everybody. If Mama were to be here now, in fact, she'll make sure everybody's okay. Everybody's not okay. She will not rest. I miss her so much. I'm thinking on behalf of all my siblings. I miss her. I love her so much.
The late Mrs. Queen Nkolise Osilonya, aged 70, an only child, is survived by 2 biological children and grandchildren, among other numerous relatives.
The universe does not give you what you ask for with your thoughts. It gives you what you demand with your actions. To end Delta News, state government has constructed over 300 kilometers of roads and 128.5 kilometers of drains in the riverine areas, with 7 bridges completed. Governor Sheriff Oborevwori disclosed this while receiving course participants from the Naval War College Calabar, Cross River State, who are on a study tour of the state. Artisans in the state have been enjoined to carry out their duties diligently and honestly for peaceful growth and progress in their careers and the state at large. The wife of the state deputy governor, Ezine Catherine Onyeme, gave the charge at the inauguration of the executive of the Artisans Association, Oshimili South Local Government Area Chapter. The Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions, NASU, has issued a 7-day ultimatum to the management of the West African Examinations Council, WAEC, to address the 4-point demand concerning workers' welfare and the alleged victimization of labor leaders. And reported from the foreign scene that the government of Rwanda has announced that it has severed diplomatic ties with Belgium. The country's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation announced this today. It has also urged all of Belgium's diplomats to leave its territory within 48 hours. So much for Delta Television News. On behalf of the news editor and the production team, this is Onome Iyaroe thanking you for watching. Do have a beautiful night rest.